So I think the challenges, as I see them, are really around regulation. I think Dubai is very technologically savvy. There's, I think, 1.2 mobile devices, per person in the region, and so adoption levels are high for mobile and for technology. What I learned today in this roundtable is there's a lot of challenges around regulation and cross-border commerce, and that has to do with regulations that differ from country to country. And so it's hard to adopt standards that may vary from one country to another. So I think regulation is a bit of a challenge. The other is that I think that the region is somewhat credit averse. And so there's a large number of debit card users, not as many credit card users. And so the adoption of debit platforms into wallets is a challenge. Well, I think that the new road, as far as technologically, the way forward is integrating technologies into your platform. And so what we see is largely API-driven innovation, which is where partners own a piece of the technology, but they partner with sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 different companies to make a transaction work. So you might have a mobile device from a manufacturer, you have a wallet from a different company, you have things like fraud checking from another company, you have real-time analytics and targeted offers from another company, and all of these work together to get you compelling content and make a transaction happen on your mobile device. So I think certainly the way forward is the sharing of technologies and integrating APIs and technologies from multiple partners. I think that the consumer will have different priorities based on where they're shopping, what they're shopping for. I may want to get credit for my air miles if I make a large purchase, right? But if I'm in a grocery store making a smaller purchase, I may just want to use my debit, versus my credit, and won't care as much about miles or points. So I think consumers are looking at things like loyalty, rewards, how they get rebates from a credit card company, how tightly a wallet is integrated with maybe points or prepaid offerings at a retailer. And so I think it's important to give the consumer choice based on where they're shopping, if it's online or if it's physically in store, and what they're shopping for. Yeah, I think the payment gateways, and I think the credit networks themselves have done a lot as far as security. I think the big challenge right now is identity management. So managing the identity, and I think today we had Samsung Pay here talking about multi-factor authentication of a user. So being able to use an iris scan or a thumbprint to actually gain entry into an application, and then potentially make a payment without even going into the wallet or into the credit card itself. And so I think that in the realm of security, especially online, there's several different ways to approach that. So I think the payment platforms are mature. I think all the infrastructure is in place. I think adoption will increase as you get platforms like Samsung Pay. I see a lot of innovation here from the banks and the way they interface with their consumers. So I think the big leap is adoption. And I think it's a somewhat conservative society. And so I think it just takes time to adopt the new technologies.